So we've seen how to mass in the vertical direction. What about in the horizontal direction and kind of free form draw that way? How would we handle that? Well, we have to use this tab over here, this work plane tab. And what I'll do first is go to level 1. And you can see I'll delete these that I had, but I'll use what are called reference planes. Now, reference planes are these infinite planes. They can go on forever and ever, and we can draw against them, right? And what we do with that is once I click on this and I draw a reference plane, you see here's my reference plane, right? And then I can go in here and draw one or two more, and they'll snap to one another. Maybe I'll make this maybe 60 feet apart for all of them. What you want to always make sure you do with a reference plane, whatever system you use to do it, is to go in here and to actually name it. I'm going to call this one 01. I'm going to call the next one 02. And the reason we want to set them is so that we don't always have to pick them. See that? That's 03. Now, what I like to do is to go to a 3D view, and then I can do what? I can go into my massing and site tab and go to in place mass. This will be mass 2. And the first thing I'm going to do is go over here to set work plane, and I'm going to set that work plane to reference plane 01. And now that's visible. Now what I can do on this, I can do a number of different things. I'm going to start with kind of an interesting, weird spline sort of shape. Right? And I'll hit escape on the keyboard and finish it. Then I'll say set this, right? And I'll go to this reference plane, go to reference plane 2. Now, what I can try and do is to copy this if I want to, right? From a point there and try to get it onto that reference plane. Now, there are ways to kind of sort of do that. I would probably go to a right side view and select that and then try to move it from there if I wanted these to be the exact same, and I could snap from that point to that plane. If I zoom in, it's kind of hard to see. You see it's kind of snapping to that let's try one of these points up here. Let's see if we can get that point to work. See if we can copy this from this point here to this next reference plane. It's close, right? And then I'm going to say show or set the third one. We'll see if this works. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. Go back to my right side view and click this and say copy from that point, that reference point, to that plane, right? And then I'll go back to my 3D view, or actually I'm still in it. I'll click to another view of my 3D view, and I'll click on 1, hold down Control, 2, and 3, and then I will say create form, a solid form, and then I have a solid form now. Once I have that solid form that's a pleasing shape to me, I can click on this, I can hover, and watch what happens. I'm going to tab, and once I click on that, I get a lot of different features up here, do I not? Today, I'm going to show you how to use this divide surface. So what if I wanted to make an interesting glass canopy above wherever I'm at? Well, I can click on this divide surface feature, and it divides the surface, and there's a U and a V grid. Vertical and U is what I guess it means is horizontal. Notice you can go in here to the grid and change those. I can change that number from 12 to maybe 10 on this side, and vertically maybe I want 15. And you can see what it does. Then if I want to put a pattern in here, I can find a pattern to put in. I'm not going to do that right now, right? But this comes helpful when I actually want to place something in there. And what may I want to place in there? Well, if I go in here and I say finish mass, right? It's just mesh geometry. But if I hover and I hit tab, I'm able to click on that. And what I could have done, as opposed to putting that division in there, let's see if what I can do now is perhaps put a roof in here. Can I make that into a roof? Let's see. I'm going to click roof by face. I'll save the project. That's a nice even face. If I click on it, I want to make sure it's a roof that makes sense for this. What if I said it's that generic 9 and I click on that face and I say create roof? So now I have a kind of an odd shape roof there, right? Not bad. But if I go back a step, maybe what I can do in this instance is say, if I go to curtain system by face and I come in here and I click on there, right? And I say create this 5 by 10 system. Now, where it's going to have problems, where it might have problems, let's see, is, did I? Okay, I think I selected create system. Hold on a second. Okay, so I divided that system. Let me go back a couple of steps. That's why my curtain wasn't working very well. I'm going to go back and I'll undivide that system. And let's see if I just hit finish mass and come out. And then go to this area that massing and site and curtain system. Let's see if I just select the face and then say creates the system. It creates the curtain system for me. So what I had done before, people, if I want to create my own custom curtain system, when I divided within the massing command, when I divided the surface, I can go into those each individual surfaces and I can create my own curtain panel. And that's a little more of an advanced feature I'll teach in the advanced class, but it goes into creating your own actual curtain panel first to apply to a system, as opposed to just using a pre-made Revit system. But what that shows you is that now I could go into this, couldn't I? And on level 1, where I drew this, right? Couldn't I go in and draw walls under this? Like if I went to a south elevation, there is my kind of interesting entrance. I could put a curtain system under here and I'd have this whole interesting glass space. Now, it'd get really hot in there and really bright in there if I didn't use the right kind of tinted glass, but this is just like any other curtain system. Remember this, I can go in and select individual panels, right? And change the way that that thing actually looks. So I can have glass in some and not have glass in others. Again, a really powerful tool that we can use to create things we want to create. Go ahead and experiment with that for about 10 or 15 minutes, and then we'll come back in, and I promise that's where we'll cover the void portion of this. We've done a lot of solids. Now we'll get into some voids.